It's a sound that no one ever wants to hear in a school. The metallic click of a lock, panicked whispers, and someone saying, "This is not a drill." Everyone knows the routine. Lights off, hide, stay silent. But when footsteps echo where no one should be walking, the line between safety and horror disappears. These are real events, so turn off the lights, lock your doors, and whatever you do, don't make a sound. It was supposed to be an ordinary Thursday morning in the middle of January. Snow covered the parking lot. The sky was a dull grey, and inside Brookfield High, everything felt like it always did. Lockers slamming, teachers yelling over the morning announcements, and students half asleep at their desks. At 10:17 a.m., the intercom crackled to life. "Attention students and staff," said a shaky male voice. "We are going into lockdown. This is not a drill." The halls went dead silent. In room 214, Sarah was sitting in the back corner of her history class. Her teacher, Mr. Collins, froze for half a second, then moved fast. He locked the door, turned off the lights, and whispered for everyone to get away from the windows. The room was suddenly dim, lit only by the faint grey light leaking through the blinds. At first, Sarah wasn't too scared. Lockdowns had happened before, usually a threat that turned out to be nothing. But this time, something felt different. Mr. Collins' hands were shaking as he pulled a bookcase in front of the door. One of the students whispered, "What's going on?" He didn't answer. Minutes passed. No one moved. You could hear the hum of the fluorescent lights and the faint tapping of someone's foot against the floor. Then came a sound from the hallway, slow footsteps echoing off the tile. Everyone froze. Sarah glanced toward the small rectangular window in the classroom door, that little pane of glass that looked out into the hall. A shadow passed by, then another. She held her breath. Someone was out there. The figure stopped right in front of their door. At first, all she could see was a dark silhouette, tall, broad shoulders. The shape leaned closer to the window. For a moment, the pale reflection of a face appeared, but it was wrong. The smile stretched too wide, the eyes unblinking, cold. Mr. Collins mouthed the words, "Don't move." The handle of the door turned. Once, then again, harder. The sound of metal scraping against metal filled the room. Sarah could feel her heart pounding in her ears. Someone near her started quietly crying. The door rattled, but the lock held. Then, silence. For a moment, it felt like whoever it was had gone. But then, 3 soft knocks. Tap, 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 slow, deliberate. Everyone stayed frozen in place. The sound of breathing filled the room, terrified, shallow breathing. And then, the footsteps started again, fading away down the hall. For almost an hour they sat there in the dark. No one spoke. Sarah's legs went numb. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from her mom asking if she was safe. She didn't dare reply. When the lockdown was finally lifted, officers escorted them out. The police had cleared the building, but something about their faces told Sarah the story wasn't over. Later that night, the local news station reported that the security cameras had caught footage of a man walking through the east wing of the school during the lockdown. He wasn't a teacher, not a janitor, not a student. He was dressed in dark clothes, wearing a black hoodie and gloves. He moved with a strange, jerky gait, like he was limping or dragging one foot behind him. But the part that chilled everyone the most wasn't how he looked. It was how he got in. The door he used to enter the building was locked from the inside. And when the police checked the key records, they found that it had been opened using a staff key card, one that belonged to a janitor who had gone missing 3 days before the lockdown. The school replaced all its locks after that. But every once in a while, when the halls are empty and the lights flicker just right, teachers still swear they hear footsteps, slow and uneven, echoing through the east wing. The second story takes place in a middle school outside of Houston, Texas, an old brick building that always smelled faintly of bleach and humidity. It was early spring and a thunderstorm was rolling in. The sky had turned almost black by noon, and thunder kept shaking the windows. Mrs. Diaz, the guidance counselor, was helping a group of 7th graders organize supplies in a basement storage room when the intercom came on. Attention students and staff. We are going into lockdown. This is not a drill. At first, everyone thought it might be a mistake. The announcement crackled through the speakers, distorted and uneven. Then the sound cut off completely. Mrs. Diaz moved fast. She locked the basement door, turned off the overhead lights, and motioned for the students to sit behind a row of stacked boxes. The room smelled of damp concrete. Water dripped from the pipes. Then the power went out. Emergency lights flickered red across the hallway just outside, bathing the walls in a sickly glow. The thunder grew louder, echoing through the vents. For several minutes there was only silence, and the sound of rain pounding against the tiny window near the ceiling. Mrs. Diaz whispered to the group, "Stay quiet. It's probably just a precaution." Then the intercom clicked again. Static hissed through the speaker, long, uneven bursts, and a man's voice whispered, "Stay where you are. I'll come find you." The kids froze. One of them, Emily, clutched Mrs. Diaz's arm so tight that her nails dug into her skin. "Was that the principal?" she whispered. Mrs. Diaz didn't answer. She just stared at the ceiling speaker, heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. She tried to call the office on her phone. No signal. The concrete walls blocked everything. Another minute passed. Then came the sound. Tap, tap, tap. 3 slow knocks from the other side of the basement door. The handle twisted. "Mrs. Diaz?" a voice said softly. "It's Officer Howard." "You can come out now." Her stomach dropped. There was no Officer Howard. She'd worked at the school for 12 years. She knew every staff member, every guard. That name didn't exist. The voice spoke again, the same calm tone, almost rehearsed. "Everything's fine now, you can open the door." Mrs. Diaz stayed silent, her hand gripping the nearest flashlight. She mouthed to the students, "Don't move." After about 30 seconds, the footsteps moved away, slow, dragging footsteps fading into the hall. Then, the emergency lights flickered once, twice, and went out completely. Darkness swallowed the room. The only light came from a faint blue glow under the door, as if someone was shining a flashlight against the crack. Then the power surged again. Lights flashed white for half a second, and in that half second, Mrs. Diaz saw a shape through the tiny window in the door. A man standing there wearing what looked like a police vest, but his face was completely featureless. Just smooth, pale skin stretched tight over a head, no eyes, no mouth, nothing. When the lights flickered again, he was gone. It took almost 40 minutes before the real police arrived. They found the basement still locked from the inside. Mrs. Diaz and the students were safe, terrified, but unharmed. When officers reviewed the security footage, they saw something none of them could explain. For exactly 21 minutes, a tall figure stood outside the basement door. It didn't move, didn't speak, didn't leave. And when the lights came back on, the hallway cameras all went blank, just static. They said it was probably a malfunction caused by the storm. But Mrs. Diaz didn't believe that, because later that night, when she got home and turned on her TV, the screen flickered for a second, and she swore she saw a flash of that same faceless figure standing in a hallway, bathed in red light. It was a quiet afternoon at Lincoln High, the kind of day when everyone just wanted to go home early. The sun was beginning to set, painting the hallways in orange light, when the announcement came. "Attention students and staff, we are going into lockdown. This is not a drill." The voice was calm, but it wasn't the principal's voice. Everyone froze. Mrs. Carver, the history teacher, quickly locked the door, turned off the lights, and told everyone to stay low and quiet. Olivia, sitting by the window, whispered, "Is it real?" The teacher didn't answer. 10 minutes passed. Nothing happened. No sirens. No footsteps. Just silence. Then, out of nowhere, the intercom buzzed again. A burst of static, followed by that same voice. "Remain silent. Do not leave your rooms." It sounded deeper this time, almost distorted. Mrs. Carver's hands trembled slightly as she reached for her phone, but there was no signal. Olivia's friend Ethan mouthed, "What's happening?" She shook her head, but before she could say anything, there was a faint sound. Footsteps in the hallway. Slow, heavy. getting closer. Everyone held their breath. The footsteps stopped right outside their door. The handle turned once, twice, then stopped. For a few seconds it was dead silent. Then a voice, not from the intercom, but right outside the door, whispered, "I can hear you." Olivia covered her mouth, her heart beating so hard she thought it might give her away. The voice was deep, broken, almost human, but not quite. The footsteps moved away, dragging along the floor, fading into the distance. The teacher whispered, "Stay still, don't move." Another few minutes passed before the intercom crackled again. This time it was the real principal's voice, panicked. "Everyone remain in place, we didn't make that announcement." "Stay locked down!" Gasps filled the room. The fake voice had come first. Whoever or whatever it was had control of the school's speakers. A sudden bang echoed down the hall, followed by the sound of something falling, metal scraping tile. Mrs. Carver jumped. The lights flickered once, twice, and went out completely. Darkness swallowed the classroom. Someone started crying quietly. Olivia clutched her phone, praying for the screen to light up. But it was dead. No battery. Then, faintly, a dim glow filled the hallway outside, as if someone was walking with a flashlight. The beam stopped in front of their door. The shadow of two long legs stretched under the crack. Then a knock, 1, 2, 3. The sound echoed like thunder in the silence. The light blinked off. The shadow disappeared. When power finally came back 15 minutes later, the lockdown was lifted. Police were already outside, searching the grounds. They found nothing, no intruder, no forced entry. But when the school checked security cameras, every hallway feed had cut out at exactly the same time, 4:23 p.m., all except one camera, the East Corridor. In its final few seconds of footage, you can see a tall figure standing motionless outside room 104, Mrs. Carver's classroom. Its face can't be seen, but it's leaning toward the door, just listening. Then the camera cuts to static. No one ever found out who or what it was. But every year, on that same day, around the same time, the intercom clicks on by itself. A calm voice says, "Attention students and staff, we are going into lockdown." And every teacher in the building freezes because that voice doesn't belong to anyone alive.